The mysterious Essos, the vast darkness of space was calm. Stars twinkled far away, and silence ruled over the empty stretches between planets. The Deathworlders' fleet sailed through this quiet space. They were known as fierce warriors, feared by many across the galaxy. Their ships were strong and fast, ready for any battle, but today there was no war, only peace, or so it seemed. Captain Rin stood on the bridge of the lead ship, watching the stars through the large window. His face was serious. Suddenly, the ship's communication system beeped loudly. The calm was broken. An unknown signal appeared on the screen, an SOS call. It was faint but clear. Someone, somewhere in space, was sending a call for help. Rin looked at his officers. "Where is it coming from?" he asked. The navigation officer checked the coordinates. "It's from a planet on the edge of the galaxy. We have never been there before." The signal was strange. It was not like any message they had received before. It was desperate and urgent, but there was something cold and strange about it, too. The ship's computer tried to decode the message. "Help us, we are under attack, please hurry," the SOS said again and again. Rin's eyes narrowed. This could be a trap, but if someone is really in trouble, we cannot ignore it. He knew the Deathworlders were not known for kindness. They were fighters, survivors, and sometimes ruthless. But they had a code. They never left anyone to die without a fight. The fleet's commanders gathered quickly. "Captain, it's risky to go there. It could be an ambush," said Lieutenant Kale. "We should send a scout first." "No," Rin said firmly. "We go as one fleet. We prepare for battle. We will help, but we must be ready for anything." The Deathworlders' ships changed course and headed toward the source of the SOS signal. As they moved, the tension grew. Every officer on every ship felt the weight of the unknown. What awaited them? Friend or enemy? Rescue or death? The journey was long and silent. Days passed, and the signal grew stronger. It was like a cry from a frightened child lost in a forest, desperate, lonely, and full of fear. Rin spent hours studying the signal's patterns. Something about it did not fit. The code was broken in places, like someone was trying to hide something. Finally, the fleet reached the edge of the system. The planet was visible now, a blue and green world, beautiful but covered with thick storms. The SOS came from there, from a small settlement on the planet's surface. Suddenly, the ship's radars detected fast-moving objects. Enemy fighters. They attacked without warning, trying to stop the fleet from reaching the planet. The battle began. Bright lasers lit up the dark space. Explosions rocked the ships. The Deathworlders fought fiercely, their ships moving with speed and power. But the enemy was strong and well prepared. The signal was a trap. Or was it? Rin shouted orders. "Hold the line, protect the fleet. We will get to the surface no matter what." The enemy fighters tried to break the fleet apart, but the Deathworlders stood strong. The fleet's power was unmatched, and slowly, the attackers started to fall back. After the fight, the fleet's ships hovered over the planet. The SOS signal was still there, louder than ever. The planet's surface showed signs of war, burning cities, craters, and smoke rising into the sky. Rin looked at the planet and felt a strange mix of anger and pity. Who had sent the SOS? Were they really the victims or something more dangerous? "We land," Rin ordered. "We find out the truth." As the landing ships descended, the fleet waited in space, ready for anything. The mystery of the SOS was deeper than anyone had guessed. What would they find on that broken planet? Friend or foe? Rescue or doom? Only time would tell. The surface below. The Deathworlders had won the first battle in space, but the real mystery still waited below. As the landing ships flew toward the planet's surface, dark clouds swirled in the sky. Lightning flashed. The storm was violent, almost like the planet itself wanted to keep its secrets hidden. Captain Rin stood at the front of the landing ship, eyes focused. He didn't trust what they were walking into, but he had made a promise: to find whoever sent the SOS. The ship touched down near the ruins of an old colony. Buildings were broken, metal twisted, and smoke filled the air. It looked like a war zone. The team stepped out wearing armored suits and carrying scanners. The ground was cold and the silence was heavy. "Spread out. Check for survivors," Rin ordered. The soldiers moved carefully, scanning the area. A low sound echoed through the air. Not machine, not storm. A whisper. One of the scouts found it first, a small bunker half buried under rubble. The door was damaged, but inside there were signs of life. Rin entered with a few others. Inside the dark room, a dim light flickered. Then they saw them. 3 alien survivors, weak and afraid. They were not like any species the Death Worlders had seen before. Their skin was pale and marked with strange glowing patterns. One of them stepped forward, shaking. You answered our call," he said in a broken voice. Rin nodded. "Why did you call us? What happened here?" The alien's eyes filled with tears. "We didn't send the call. It was set long ago to warn others, to keep them away." The room went silent. Rin felt a chill. Then who sent the signal this time? Before the alien could speak, the scanners beeped again. Something was moving fast beneath the ground. Suddenly, a loud roar shook the ruins. The ground split open behind them, and from the shadows, something monstrous climbed out. Tall, armored, with glowing red eyes. It was not alive. It was a machine built for war. The soldiers opened fire, but the creature moved quickly. It struck with deadly force, smashing the wall and sending metal flying. The alien screamed and took cover. Rin shouted, "Fall back! Protect the survivors!" As they escaped the bunker, more of the war machines emerged from underground. These weren't just guards, they were hunters, designed to destroy anything that stepped foot on this planet. Now it was clear, the SOS wasn't a cry for help, it was bait, but something didn't add up. Why spare the aliens in the bunker? Why wait before attacking? Rin didn't have time to think. The battle had begun again, but this time, on the ground. Blasters lit up the ruins. Deathworlder soldiers fought hard, but the machines were unlike anything they had faced before. "Get us air support," Rin ordered. "Now." As the call went out, the alien beside him whispered, "This planet, it was a test site. Our creators made weapons here and lost control. These machines don't stop. They don't sleep. They were waiting for someone to come." Rin looked at the burning skies and the endless machines rising from the earth. "They waited for war," he muttered. But they hadn't counted on the Deathworlders. The storm grew worse. Lightning tore across the sky as the Deathworlder soldiers took cover inside the broken colony. Their guns were hot, their armor dented, but their eyes still burned with the fire to fight. Outside, war machines marched like metal giants. Their red eyes scanned the ruins. Every step they took made the ground shake. Captain Rin ducked beside a broken wall. His team had managed to pull the alien survivors out of the bunker, but now they were trapped. Surrounded, cut off from the main fleet. "Sir, we're pinned down," said Sergeant Cole, reloading his rifle. "No way out." Rin checked his scanner. "No reinforcements. Storms blocking our signal." Then, the ground rumbled again. A massive shape appeared at the far end of the street, bigger than any machine they had seen. It was covered in black armor, sharp like blades, and on its back were missile pods. It wasn't just a hunter. It was a commander, the alien survivor. Still weak, looked up and whispered, "That's the first one. The oldest. The mind behind the rest. If it falls, maybe the others will stop." Rin nodded slowly. "Then we hit it hard." The Deathworlders didn't wait. They moved fast, setting traps and charges along the path. Each soldier took a position, knowing they might not survive. But they were Deathworlders, born on the most dangerous planet in the galaxy. Fear was a tool, not a master. The commander machine advanced, scanning, calculating. It spotted the traps but walked through them anyway, shielding itself with armored plates. Then it spoke. In a deep, artificial voice, it said, You are not authorized to interfere. You are not welcome here. Turn back or be erased. Rin stepped forward, his voice calm. We don't run. Not from monsters, not from machines. The battle began again. Explosions shook the colony. Blasters lit up the streets. The commander machine launched missiles, but the Death Worlders split into teams, dodging, striking, and drawing it into a trap. Finally, Rin himself leaped onto the machine's back, planting a plasma charge into its power core. The blast sent metal flying. The giant fell, but it wasn't over. All around, the other machines froze. Then they screamed, a high-pitched mechanical wail. They didn't shut down. They got faster. The fall of the commander had triggered something worse. These machines, Rin said, breathing hard, are not just weapons. They're learning. Suddenly, from the skies above, a message came through the storm. Faint, but clear. Fleet reinforcements incoming. Hold position. Rin looked up at the lightning-filled sky and clenched his fists. We'll hold, he said. We'll show them what Death Worlders really are. Reinforcements of fire. The skies above the alien colony were dark, filled with smoke and lightning. The machines had gone wild after the fall of their commander. They were faster now, smarter, more dangerous. Captain Rin and his team were running, low on ammo. Their armor was cracked, but none of them gave up. They had one goal: keep the alien survivors safe and hold the line until help arrived. Suddenly, the clouds above tore open. A thunderous roar echoed across the sky. A shape dropped through the storm, huge, sleek, glowing with blue fire. It was the human reinforcements. Dozens of warships descended like steel angels. Engines screamed as they broke through the atmosphere. Missiles fired. Energy cannons lit up the ground like a second sun. From above, a voice came through the comms. This is Fleet Commander Voss. All Death Worlders mark targets. It's time to clean house. The machines turned upward to attack, but it was too late. Fighter jets rained fire. Orbital cannons struck their lines. The ground exploded in waves as machine after machine fell. The soldiers on the ground cheered. Reinforcements landed fast. New squads in heavier armor, medics for the wounded, and massive walking tanks that looked like mobile fortresses. One alien survivor, barely conscious, looked up at the sky with wide eyes. Your people came back, he whispered. They didn't forget you. Rin nodded. Humans never leave their own behind. Suddenly, Voss's voice crackled again in Rin's earpiece. Captain, the machines were building something underground, a deep structure. We're picking up strange energy spikes. You need to check it now. Rin looked at the others. They were tired, wounded, but ready. He gave the order. We go underground. Whatever they were hiding, we end it. As the battle raged above, the Death Worlders descended into the darkness once more, but deep beneath the ruins, something was waiting. Something ancient. Something that had been watching since the first signal was sent. Beneath the ruins, the entrance to the underground chamber was hidden beneath rubble, sealed for centuries. But the Death Worlders had tools, power drills, plasma cutters, and fearless determination. Captain Rin led the way. The tunnel was cold, dark. The walls were made of ancient metal, not like the machines above, older, smoother, humming softly. With energy. Stay close, Rin said, and stay quiet. As they moved deeper, the air grew heavier. Their lights flickered. The deeper they went, the more they felt watched. Private Miko pointed to strange markings on the walls. This writing. It's not from the machines. Someone else built this place. Suddenly the tunnel shook. Dust fell from above. They weren't alone. From the shadows, figures emerged. Tall, skeletal shapes with glowing red eyes. But they weren't. Machines, they moved too silently, too smoothly. Not machines, whispered Sergeant Hale. These things. There's something else. The creatures attacked without warning. Silent. Deadly. The Deathworlders fought hard, but the enemies didn't fall like the machines did. They adapted, learned with every move, and when shot, they melted into shadows, then reappeared behind. "The soldiers! Fall back!" Rin shouted. "Regroup at the chamber door." But the enemy kept coming. Finally, the team reached a massive underground hall. In its center was a glowing sphere, floating above a pedestal. It pulsed like a heartbeat. "What is that?" Miko asked, terrified. Rin stepped forward. "It's the source." The moment he spoke, the walls lit up with ancient symbols. The red-eyed creatures stopped, stared, and vanished like smoke. Then a voice echoed from the sphere. Not a voice of machine or man, but something older. "You have awakened the core. The war never ended. And now, it begins again." Silence fell over the room. Rin turned to his team. "This is bigger than we thought. We're not just fighting machines." He looked at the glowing core. "We found a forgotten war, and we're standing in the middle of it. The forgotten war begins." The glowing sphere hovered silently, pulsing like a heartbeat. The Deathworlders stood frozen, their weapons useless against what they didn't understand. Captain Rin stared at the floating core. "Who are you?" he asked, voice low but firm. The voice replied again, ancient, layered, echoing like it came from every direction at once. "We were the first, the builders of peace, the last of the Flameborn. And now, we are memory." The team looked at each other. Flameborn, builders of peace. It didn't match the death and ruin they had seen. Rin stepped forward. "Why did you call for help? Was it you who sent the SOS?" "Not us. One of ours. A guardian. Left behind." Suddenly the walls around them shimmered, revealing holograms, visions of a massive galactic war. Alien races, entire fleets destroyed by a shadowy force, not machines, not creatures, something far worse. It consumed our worlds, a hunger without purpose. We locked it away, deep beneath this world. Private Miko whispered, "It's still here, isn't it?" The core pulsed faster. "The prison is weakening. The machines above were safeguards. They failed. And now your arrival has triggered the final protocol." The ground trembled again. This time it wasn't just the underground collapsing. Something massive was moving, waking. Above, orbiting ships reported strange readings. The planet's crust was shifting. Energy spikes were off the charts. On the surface, Commander Elia watched. Her screen flashed red. "Captain Rin, come in. You need to evacuate. Something's coming from the planet's core. It's alive." Back underground, the core spoke again. "You must decide, humans of Earth. Run, or finish what we could not." Captain Rin turned to his team. "We came to answer an SOS. We didn't know it was a warning." He tightened his grip on his weapon. "But we're Deathworlders. We don't run." Outside, the stars seemed to blink. Something ancient was waking, and it was hungry. The last stand of the Deathworlders. The ground split open with a roar, like the death of stars. Fire and smoke burst from the ancient fissures as something massive, darker than space itself, began to rise. Captain Rin stood firm, his armor scorched, his team behind him. The core's voice rang out once more, heavy with sorrow. "It has awakened, the devourer of systems." Above in orbit, Deathworlder warships rearmed. Admiral Cora gave the command. "Prepare planetary strike, but don't fire unless I say." "Rin's still down there." Rin looked at the horror crawling from the depths, long limbs like broken towers, thousands of red eyes blinking in strange patterns. It wasn't just a monster. It was intelligent and angry. "You are not of the builders," it said, its voice a storm. "Yet you walk in their ruins. You carry fire. You are worthy prey." Rin tapped his comm. "Admiral, we're out of time. Evacuate if you want, but I'm staying." "No," Cora replied. "We're not leaving anyone behind. Never again." Rin smiled. Humanity had learned. No more forgetting their own. He turned to his team. We hold this ground. Whatever comes, it ends here. The team locked eyes. No. One backed down. Suddenly, the ancient flame-born core flared. If you stand, then take our final gift. Blue light surged through the chamber. Armor evolved, weapons reformed, advanced tech fusing with human gear. The flame-born legacy, reborn through Deathworlder hands. Now we're talking. Miko grinned. The creature lunged, and the battle began. Orbital ships rained hellfire from above, guided by precision. On the ground, Rin and his team fought like titans, dodging, striking, firing in perfect rhythm. Human will, enhanced by ancient alien power, stood toe-to-toe with a force that once ended civilizations. Explosions shook the cavern. Smoke and fire danced. But the Deathworlders didn't fall. In a final push, Rin activated the core's overload sequence. One last charge to burn the Devourer into nothing. He shouted through the comm, "All ships, get clear." And as the explosion engulfed the planet's core, the signal faded. Weeks later, Earth orbit. A beacon flared on the edge of known space. It was the Defiance, damaged, but alive. Captain Rin, half-conscious, smiled at the stars as rescue ships closed in. Humanity had answered the SOS, and, in doing so, proved one thing to the galaxy. Deathworlders never abandon the fight, or each other.